Yeah, hi everyone. So today I'm going to explain about the step-by-step approach to handle the web table in Selenium Java. Okay, let's get started. So basically, for handling a web table, we need to learn some kind of HTML structure of the web table. Okay, so once we inspect, right, we will get that HTML structure on the console window, like inspecting window. There we can see that kind of some pattern for the HTML. The tag will start from Okay, tag will start from table and which will have a ID as a locator or maybe a name is a locator or there is a class. Okay, so basically how this web table is structured in the HTML. If you know that this structure of the HTML web page design, then very easy to handle our in Selenium. So basically there are some kind of key points I added here. So there is a tag called table. So this table tag, which main contain the tag, which will be start of the table and end of the table. So which means, so the you see that here. So there is a starting tag of the table and the ending tag of the table, and in between the table structure has been defined, and also there is a attribute is declared for the within the starting tag, right? So in next. So every table which will have a kind of headers. Okay, so this T head is represent for the header section and typically used for grouping the header content, and usually we consist of a TH. Basically, the tag is a TH. TH is refer for a table header element. So let's see that you can see that. So sometimes we have a TH a table header or T header. So it depends upon that. So this is the root tag of T head, and in between the row, the first row of the T head, so which we have a TH. TH is the first column of the header. It is a TH is the second column of the header is a role. So third column of the role is department. So something like this particular table header is represented as HTML structure. Okay. So then next one is a very important one, and this T body which represents a table body section which contain main rows of the table. So which means it is typically defined for a TR is a tag, and which means a table row of the elements. Table row of the element which will contain a table information. And you can see that T body start from here, and so there is a ending tag in between. So now we can come to know. So every T body which will have TRs. So the table rows. Okay, the first table row. First table row which will have three sets of data, and the second table also which will have three sets of data. So that is what is a TR. Okay, so then next is like a TD which will represent for table data cell. It represent a entire data cell within that, and it typically it placed under the T body under TR only. Okay, so let's see that, which will see that here a TD. TD means a table data. The first second row. So first row in the sense first row TD of one is the first column. Okay, first column cell. So first row, first cell data, something like. So which will represent. Second one, detail about the HTML structure web table on the website. Now let's see that. Yeah, let's see that basic web table Selenium operations. So how we can get this table object, and after a table object where we can see that how can fetch the number of rows on the table, number of column on the table, and how to fetch the data from that particular cell. Okay, and also like how to iterate the entire table. So and also we can convert them into as a list of data. Okay, that collection. So let's see this all those operations first theoretically. Then theoretically we can see that. Thereafter we can I'll explain the practical example. So first of all here. So as we know everyone. So WebDriver dot find element. So it is a ID locator which is already available in the our current given table. So this is the ID. So ID is a employee table. So based on that, we got the first object, so which means entire web table object, which we hold by using this locator basic operation. So that is called WebDriver find element by ID employee table. So now this web element is referring of entire table. Okay, so the entire table which will have like a headers and body, and under body we have a TRs and TDs. So now we can, by using this table reference, by using this table reference, so we can write the logics for getting the number of rows. So for that, what we can do is, so we have taken that root web table currently. So this object, so we have by using the driver dot find element, and there is a ID attribute of employee table. So now I want to now we want to get the number of rows from the table. So already we have a table object. So now by using this table object, and we are using now find elements. Okay, find elements means multiple elements. So based on the TR, so based on the TR, so which will get that uh, rows. So let me take a snapshot and I will explain parallelly. Yeah, now you can see that. So we have this object, entire object. Okay, so by using driver.find element, by using this ID locator, so we have an entire references table. This is a web element, entire web element. In that entire web element, I want to get the number of rows. Okay, TR in the sense, TR is a tag which are using for that. In this table, how many TRs are there? How many TRs are there? There are two TRs are there. So for that case, by using tag name of TR means this one. So now table reference that find elements, which will return a multiple element, so that method is holding by using the list, the collection list of web element stored in the row is the reference variable, and we are printing the row dot size. Row dot size is the method. So the size of the particular table is 2, so it will be printed. The next one is okay. The next thing is finding the columns. So how do we find the columns? Okay, how do we find the columns? So by using similarly, so by using the TDs, okay, by using the TDs. So let me see that fetch the table, all the columns from the specific row based on the specific row only. Okay, so this is the first row. In this first row, how many TDs are there? How many TDs are there? There are three TDs are there. So we are providing that already we got the above reference. By using the above reference, we got a number of rows. So this is the number of rows. In that number of rows reference element, the first one, okay, the first one is index one. Okay, the first row of find elements again TD. So this is the TD. So how many first row, how many TDs are there? There are three TDs are there. Then by using the find elements method, which will return the list of web elements of the columns. So what is the size of the column is 3. So now, so this is the way we can find out the particular columns on the row. Now next one is we need to get the data from the column. Okay, so the cell data by using specific row and column. Suppose already we got a column value. Okay, already we got a columns, number of columns. So number of columns of get of I. So number of column of get of I means this one. Okay, so this one. So then get text is the method which will get the value from the particular cell data. So to get the cell data, so by using the rows, and once we find the rows, we will find that we will navigate to the columns. After navigating the column data which will be fetched by get text is the method for fetching the data. Okay, so now that is what it is, and now let's see that we want to get that, or we want to print that total number of rows and total number of columns values. So for that, here we have a all rows and all columns for by using for loop for entire table. It is a very simple. So once we get the rows, okay. So we are added a for loop here, and rows of get I. Okay, it depends means the first row. So selected for first row, and find elements of TD. How many elements? It will be three. So again inside there is another for loop, which will loop this one. The first for loop for this one for row, and second for loop for TD. TD means table columns. So now we are printing the table column by using the get text, and we are providing the pipe symbol for representing a table format value. So this is the way we can where we can print that table data value as. Okay, so this is about the theory. Now we'll see the practical now and practical implementation. So for practical implementation, I'm taking this particular site, and you see that this is a web table. Okay, and this web table has a kind of rows. Okay, header. So this is a header. Select name, role, and email address, and location and department. And there are kind of rows. Okay, so this is a table, and this is a row, and this is cell data or column data. So like that, we can iterate and we can build, and we can based on the specific particular. First, we can find the number of rows and number of columns. Okay. Then after we can get the text specific cell data, and then after we can print all those data from the table. So that way we can achieve our objective. Okay. So let's create a Java class for that, and we can write a web table implementation. So I created a like web table Selenium class, and in that I'm adding a main method, and so just I'm implementing a WebDriver equal to Chrome driver, and let me import the classes, and yeah, WebDriver small driver equal to no Chrome driver. So I want to launch this site. So for the web table site is this one. Now after launching that, okay, so now we want to write a code here. So right, okay, what we should get this here. So we need to get that. Okay, first we can inspect. You can inspect it, and we'll come back. So let me inspect this HTML. Okay, so I'll make the view this way better. Okay, so now you can see that. Yeah, let me inspect it here. Now you can see that what is the table. So table is here is a my table. Okay, so the table locator is my table, and also you see that there is a table header. Okay, there is a table, so there is a table and table header and T body, and under the closing of a table. So this is a HTML backend HTML structure as I showed you, right? Similarly, it is a table row. Okay, table header and table body. So if I extract the table header, so where we can see that, let me extract here, and we can see that HTML first. So here you can see tr and th. The first table header, second table header is the name, third table header is the role, and fourth table header is a email address. So like that the table headers are defined under the T head. So under T head, there is a table data columns are there. So now let's move on to the table body, and table body which will have a number of TRs. TR means the table rows, and under the table row we have a TDs. Under the TDs we have some kind of cell data cell. Okay, so let's see that one by one, and we can write that logics for this. So first of all, we can get that table web table object, web table web table object. Okay, so how do we get? So how do you get web table object current site is? So we want a web element. Okay, web element, and table is equal to small driver dot, and so now you can see that find that element. Now we can see what is our locator. So let me see that. So it is a id. I can use my id. Okay, by dot id, I'll use by dot id, and we can provide the table attribute of id. Okay, it is a my table. yeah, my table. So let me import this by, and before that we can do some maximization. So driver dot when is maximize, and we got a web table, and now we want to get the number of rows. So what we can do? So we can write that. Okay, so we can write that. First of all, like size. So just we are printing the size. So table is already reference and find elements. Okay, find elements and table row. Okay, so like that. So instead of like that, we can do a list of web elements. List of web elements. Okay, so we got a list, and after that we can print here system out and row count is size. So row count dot size is a method. So by using that we can get the number of rows. Now so we can get the number of columns. Get number of columns from the table. So how do we get? So just simply we can say that column count. So we got a row count of 0. Okay, and find elements by that tag name is a by that tag name is a TD. So we need to represent a TD. So this is the way we can get this value. So now here we can see that system.out.println and column count size. So once we get the column count, we can see the size. Okay, so this is the way we can see. Let's run this our cell value also. Yeah, we can get the cell value. How do we get the cell value? So we want a cell value. So I want to get the index of 1 and cell index start get 1. Okay, so row is for get of 1. So okay, find elements and tag name TD. So TD of 1. So directly we can get a one's first cell value, something like. Okay, so let me run this one and we can see that. Yeah, so let me see the print values. So by the way we can see, so unable to, yeah, so number of rows, right? Number of rows is 11, and column count is we got a 0. So column count is we got a 0 in this one. So let me change the index of 1 and see that. So I change the index of get of 1. Right now we are only printing the console print on that. Okay. So number of rows is 11. Number of rows is 11. Let me see that. So number of rows 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, the first header also it came. So total number of rows are 11, and column 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 columns are there. So by the way, we can see that. Okay, so here we did not printed that thing. So let me print it and we can come to know the current cell value. Index of 1. Okay, the index of 1 cell value we will come to know. To handling this web table, just we come to know that a table structure is a very important, crucial here. So once we come to know that, yeah, you see that get of 1 and set of 1. So the which means this particular 1 1. So the cell number is 1 1. Okay. So this cell number is 1 0, something like. Okay. So John Doe is printed. So this is the way. So now I want to print all the table data. Okay. So print all table. Okay. All values in the table data. So for that, so we need to like write a for loop, and in this for loop, so as we know, the row count, right? First we need to get the row and the row count size, and also column count. Column count we got, and the column count of the first column of TD, and we are iterating the first column value. Okay, first column value we are iterating. So then we are printing the values from first column. Like again, we move to the second row, the next row columns and the next row column data, which will be printed like this. Okay, so here we have a two for loop. First for loop, which will represent for the rows. Okay, Okay, so let me, yeah, first row. Okay, we are entering the first row. So suppose we have six columns. So now what we are doing in the second for loop, we are iterating this first. So total we have 11 rows for the table and six columns. So first row which we enter. So in between we have to iterate a six column values. So for that we have a column values. Column value size means column the total number of columns in the particular row, and we are iterating the first column and printing the first column value, and first row first column value, and first row second column value, first row third column value. So like that we reach the sixth first row sixth column and printed. Then we can move to the second row. Okay, now second row the first column. First column in the sense first column value it will printed. Like that it will iterate the total and it will print the table as like this. Let me run and see that outcome for the table by using the printing all the table as a table format. Yes. So now we can see that. So suppose if I make here a pipe symbol, so for better representation. So let me rerun this one. So now you can see that it is as like I'm printing the console as a two pipe symbol separating the column and the rows values. So by the way, we can see that as like the table format. Yes. So we are printing all entire table data. So which one you want to validate, you can based on that you can validate write a validations for that. So this is the way where we can simply enhance our or extract our the table data from the web table, and we can write our assertion based on that our test cases. Okay, so I think that's all about this table. So thank you everyone.